Hello, good morning, all. Good morning, friends. Welcome to yet another special episode of APAC Dialogue India Fights Corona. We have started this series keeping in mind that where healthcare experts, healthcare leaders, doctors, policymakers come together and share their views and experience to spread positivity in this time of pandemic when chips are down. And who better than Dr. Prassan, who can give hope because he's known for giving hope to many people around the country. We're glad to have with us Dr. Prassan, one of the leading gynecologists and head of Department of Reproductive Medicine and Surgery, St. Stephen's Hospital, Delhi. We welcome Dr. Prassan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, and namaskar to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and good to see you, Souvik.
Same here, Dr. Prasad. My first question to you will be that I know personally that you always believe that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. And at the present, we are going through a pandemic where chips are down, a lot of deaths, a lot of mishappenings are happening. What will be your suggestion for those couple who are trying to conceive a baby or going through IVF process? What kind of precaution they should take during this pandemic, keeping in mind the vaccination, this drug, that drug. So, what will be your suggestion for that, sir?
Well, it's getting difficult for everybody to make up their minds and to have a clear concept that how we're going to go about IVF, and it's not just in my specialty. It's basically because of the fact that to be very frank, that most of us also are bewildered with the amount of data we have and how to analyze it and give a particular set of directions. So people who are taking care of the sick people in the ICUs, the pulmonologists and the respiratory physicians and the general medicine people, they are having some set plans. They are having, okay, sick person, give oxygen, if bad give BiPAP, CPAP, or give intubation and try to get the person better with antibiotics. Those are the set kind of rules when people are sick. Now I have a specialty where people who are healthy and they are coming to me for a treatment of infertility. So now this becomes difficult for me because first of all, how do I convince them to come to me and get a treatment done when they're perfectly all right and there's a pandemic looming? So they are all very worried that once they come to the hospital, apart from getting an infertility treatment, are they going to carry the coronavirus home in addition to the getting the treatment? So this is the biggest dilemma which we have. So, like you were asking me what precautions these people must be taking. So yes, for the initial few days, even last year and even now, when the wave started and when it reached its peak in 2020, also around May, June, we had stopped the fresh IVF cycles and the fresh treatment cycles. And yet again in this year, around April mid onwards, we have stopped doing the IVF. Most of us, that is, the people who have who matter and the people who are, following all the protocols laid down by the reproductive societies of a country and international societies, they have all cut down the work just to the bare minimum of seeing them in the OPD if required. So yes, the precaution which I want my patients to take is, for the time being, when it is looming so strongly and there's so many cases, I know it's coming down, but for the time being, stay put. Follow the directions which have been given to you. And if you're a couple who's not having IVF as the treatment, some of you are for the treatment of just having drugs given to you for conception, basic protocols. So it is best that you stay at home and try naturally. And we have got a lot of surprising results in these two waves, that people who are stopped coming to us have actually somehow conceived at home. So it's all right. It's we are not we are going to like success for these patients whichever way it comes. And if they're able to give time to each other at home and they're going to get a success at home, I'm very happy. But that is for the people who are not having major complications which need to be treated. But yes, those who require IVF, those who require surgeries for corrections, those who require cysts and tumors to be removed, those who require, the uterus shape to be corrected, and those who require the protocols of IVF where they have to come regularly for injections and monitoring of the eggs, if they're growing or not growing, they have to come to us. So that's why I'm saying, for the time being, for let's say, I would say till June end, I would want them to hold back. I would want them to hold back and stay at home, because it is not very advisable to expose yourself when you're healthy otherwise. The biggest thing which is troubling us is that these healthy people who come for IVF treatment, they may get a result with IVF or not, but they are very highly likely to get COVID in the hospitals. So that is for the time being. So yes, for the timing, I would want them to hold back IVF treatment till end of June. I mean, at the present scenario, it is waning off in the major metros. For the timing, IVF, hold back. But for the regular other treatment, they can come to us in the OPD, take the advice, take the medications, go back home, and follow a natural process of conception. That's the
That
initial first advice.
That's a very good, very pertinent point spoken by Dr. Prassan Vij. And let me inform you and all our audience that we are going live with this in Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube through APAC News Network channel. And a lot of viewers are watching it. And I'm sure the suggestions given by you are of utmost importance for those couple who are trying for reproductive medicine to conceive a baby through IVF and other means as well. And I think rightly said that for the time being, stay put, at least till June end. If it's not that complicated, don't come to hospital or don't go for this treatment yet. That's what you're trying to say. Dr. Vij, I'll take a cue from what you've said, that a lot of apprehensions are there among patients, among doctor fraternity, hospital fraternity also. This vaccination drive is going on. So I think a lot of questions are also are there in people's mind, that if a couple is going through IVF process or thinking of going through IVF process, what is your advice for them, that they should go for vaccination or they should not go for vaccination during this process? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I know this is a question which I'm answering at least 10, 15 times in a day. And, I'll advise all of you not to get too worried about the vaccine. Look, any vaccine, right from my childhood, I remember when we had BCG vaccines and even the measles shot and the oral polio, whenever we got anything, we were always told that there could be side effects. So this is a new vaccine and we had to make it in a hurry. You know that the pandemic forced most of us to, shortcase most of the protocols and get a vaccine which was made in a hurry. We all know that. So yes, we know it's not a perfect medicine yet, but it is giving hope to the humanity, because a lot of us who had COVID after the vaccine are alive to tell this tale. A lot of us, some of us doctors got COVID after the vaccine, and most of us did not have that kind of a illness as people had without the vaccine. So this is a punchline. I mean, you may say, okay, this type of vaccine is good for these type of people, and that particular vaccine is giving these side effects, and this vaccine has to be taken once has to be taken, and the other one has to be taken after 12 weeks. So every vaccine has their own methods and their own side effects and pitfalls. But I'm looking at the positive sides, that yes, it is giving some protection at least. The virus is mutating, new strains are coming up every second day. There are so many variants that we have run out of the list. I mean, I don't remember the number of variants which are there. So when there is a problem like that, whatever vaccine is there is going to work in your body, and somewhere some of your immune cells, we call them the T helper cells, and those cells are having the memory T cells. They're having the antigen stored somewhere, and they're working in making the antibodies. So the antibodies which are made may work in some way to reduce the severity of COVID as and when you get it. Sooner or later, we are going to live with this for the rest of our lives. In the next 3-4 years, COVID would be something which would have happened to everybody, and few new people will be getting it. And they might, 1 out of 50 or 1 out of 100 odd people would get very sick, but the other 99 would recover. This is going to happen eventually in next 3 to 4 years. So when the vaccine is available, please take it. Now, coming specifically to reproductive medicine, where you asked me this question, Souvik, I'm very sure that whatever is happening in your life, whichever part of your menstrual cycle you're in, and whether you are having the period today or you're coming for the stimulation for the IVF tomorrow, please don't even think twice to take the vaccine. The vaccine itself is not giving the disease. For that matter, I'll go ahead and tell you something in addition to what Souvik asked me. If you're not pregnant, don't think twice, take the vaccine. You're having your periods, please take the vaccine. Some of you are getting a doubt that when you're having periods, the body is in a process of making clots and the vaccine will make more clots. Guys, you are actually thinking too much. Please, if you're having periods, go ahead and take the vaccine. If you're having a problem regarding, I'm coming for the IVF stimulation, and can I take the vaccine or not because I may get pregnant? Please take the vaccine. Because what is the next step? Are pregnant women getting the vaccine? Yes, we are giving it to pregnant women now. Although I cannot say it for sure that it is not going to cause a problem. Okay, I'm very sorry, and I'm a doctor. I'm saying it online. There's so many of you listening, but yes, there are no set protocols now. Most of us have seen that if women get to have COVID in pregnancy, most of them are doing well. But yes, some odd women, some odd patient who are having COVID and pregnancy, we have lost them also. But that is much lesser than the people, general population of people who are men and non-pregnant women. It's lesser than those. But yes, most women with COVID in pregnancy have made it. Some have died. I will not deny that. But that is the disease itself. To some it is worse, to some it is mild. So that is not going to change if you take the vaccine or not. So please take the vaccine. Even if there's a pregnancy, take an informed choice. We will tell you that it may cause a problem, but mostly it does not cause a problem, just like any other vaccine. And please be rest assured that it is not going to transmit the COVID to the fetus. If you are positive and your husband is negative, go ahead and try for a pregnancy. If your husband is positive and you're negative, you can still try for a pregnancy. But yes, the problem is that the other spouse, he should be at least having the antibody. He should have had COVID before. So yes, if it is a case where you are worried about COVID coming through the vaccine, please don't be worried. Go ahead and take the vaccine. That's the bottom line. Don't be worried about whatever part of treatment cycle you're in. Go ahead and take it.
That's again that's again a new insight, that you're saying that whatever may be the circumstances, let's go for vaccination. Don't wait for.
It's better to take the vaccine and then wait for a few side effects if at all they have to happen, rather than not taking the vaccine and fear for the worst. I mean, because then you're all the time you're thinking that you're going to get COVID, and yes, it can cause mortality. That's the worst case scenario which we know. So it's better we take the vaccine and then wait for our good luck to stay with us. And we have taken the vaccine, and now if COVID happens, then I'm sure that I'm going to have a milder disease. So it's better to take and then plan your moves, rather than just sitting and praying for this to happen.
So are you trying to say that if a couple is going through IVF treatment, then if they're vaccinated, that reduces the chance of any mishappenings or side effect? That's what you're trying to tell?
I'm trying to say that if a couple is going for IVF, he can take the vaccine. That couple can take the vaccine, and it's not going to cause any excess deleterious effects on the couple or on the embryo when it is going to form. Yes, it's not going to happen. Let's take it the other way around. Let's forget IVF. Let's forget medicine. Let's forget what we are talking. The motto of our talk today, the motive here today. Haven't thousands of people conceived in the last 1.5 years? Haven't thousands of deliveries happened in these 1.5 years? In these 18 months, thousands of babies have been born, and thousands were actually from mothers who were COVID positive and people who were having COVID when they conceived. And how many anomaly babies have been reported? Are they out of proportion? No, they are not. Are there new cases, new type of defects coming out? No, they've not been reported. Maybe 5 years down the line, there might be something which may come and say that, this kind of problem may happen to the fetus. As of now, there's nothing like that. So we can't just stop everything from happening. We'll have to let life go on. So yes, COVID per se, the virus per se, is not a teratogenic. I mean, it's not going to cause defects on the fetus. That much is almost certain for now. I mean, I can't say it's for sure, but yes, it's almost certain that it does not cause any anomalies in the fetus. So go ahead. I mean, you can try pregnancy in this time. And so many people have conceived and delivered in this time of 18 months.
Right. Another question which is coming, and I can see in my WhatsApp, some of the questions have already come. I'll take just one question. Some apprehensions, if you can clear those apprehensions. One question has come that a couple is asking that, what if the father and mother both are COVID, God forbid, and they are almost on the final stage of IVF treatment? What is the future?
Now, those are specific things. Now when we come into specificities, well, if I start the IVF and the couple is negative, that's only when I start the IVF, because I know the IVF will not cause if they conceive in IVF, nothing's going to happen with COVID. But the person might get very sick with COVID during IVF treatment. He may be in the worst phase of COVID when the eggs have to be taken out. So I will not want a sick person to undergo any procedure. So when I start the procedure, I do the COVID test. If it is negative, then around 14-15 days of injections are given. When I have to take out the eggs, I repeat the COVID test of the couple. Now, when the test is repeated for the couple, at that moment they are negative, then only we go ahead. Now, suppose at that moment, okay, this is specific, so I'm telling you specific. So the moment when I have to take out the eggs, suppose tomorrow is the surgery of pulling out the eggs out of the woman, and the woman is positive, and the husband is negative, then what do? I take out the eggs and I keep them stored in a separate marked tank. Okay, these are the eggs of the COVID positive women. So we'll store them, and we will now not proceed in putting the embryos back to the woman's body. We will not get her to have a pregnancy. We'll store whatever eggs we got till the woman becomes better, and we'll freeze the eggs. And later, after let's say 2-3 months, when they are up to it, we will either convert the eggs into embryos by inseminating the sperms, or we will actually store the embryos also sometimes like that. But that's a little more technical. We are not going to those details. But yes, for the people who are looking at this presentation right now, if the woman gets positive just before the eggs aspiration, before the eggs retrieval procedure, as we call it, we will not stop the procedure. We'll take out the eggs and store in a marked tank for COVID patients. Now, if the husband is positive and his wife is negative, at that moment, we give them a choice that we will store the eggs and the husband's sperms. Do you want to make the embryos now, or we just store the eggs and don't proceed? We take out the eggs of the woman and don't proceed to make the embryos. You know, the technical part is that if we take the eggs and put the sperms, then only it becomes an embryo. So what we do is the husband is positive and the woman is negative. We take out the eggs of the woman, store the eggs, and again after 2-3 months, when both of them are fine, then we take the sperms of the husband, pull out the eggs from the storage, and make new embryos and transfer. So we have protocols. Don't worry, we have protocols in place. If a person gets positive at the height of the treatment, that was your specific question, isn't it? That right. We are doing IVF, they were negative at that moment. But when the IVF final procedure had to be done, they have spent around 90,000, 1 lakh rupees, and they are now about to get the IVF done, and the things become positive. So please don't despair. We have protocols in place where we can still do the procedure, but probably not give you a pregnancy now. We keep the embryos or the eggs as a backup plan.
That's a very important. That's a very important part you have answered now, because this apprehension is there in a lot of people's mind, and as you have said that the procedure will go on. Maybe the final work will be a little hold back, but the procedure will go on, and you have explained it all. I'm sure the viewers who are watching this, the couples who are watching this, will get great insights on that. How you and your fraternity is trying to be safe in this pandemic, because you are the frontline warriors, and our salute to you from APAC News Network, to you, to all the doctors, to all the nurse, all the medical staff. Our salute to you for what you have been doing for the last 2 years in this country and world over. So we take this opportunity also to thank you and the entire medical fraternity. So how what will be a session for young doctors? You're an experienced doctor.
We are at the helm of it, and doctors cannot say no to the service. And although I'm not seeing COVID patients, the ones who are coming directly with illness, but we are having an OPD which is running. I mean, there are people who are going to come for their problems to us, for gynecology problems. They're going to come to me for regular gynae problems. They're going to come to me for OBS problems, and they're going to come to me for IVF. So when the patients come to me in the OPD, we are exposed to them, and we have OPDs now which are totally marked as safe OPDs, because we keep the social distancing going. We see them with a distance, and all of us are having protective gear on. And when we are examining them, we are taking precautions. And I would say that in spite of all of this, the virus strain this time is much more virulent. I mean, in spite of a best of our precautions, almost all of us in my department, and quite a few doctors, almost 30 to 40% of the doctors of my hospital have had COVID. And that is in spite of taking the precautions, because this time the strain is very, very highly virulent. So What I would say that yes, we can't stop our work, and we hope that our regular exposure to the patients, the young doctors who are regularly getting exposed to these patients, this exposure itself is building that slow kind of immunity in us. I'm hoping for that. And secondly, I want the patients, I request the patients that please don't hide your symptoms, because I've had people whom I've posted for surgery day after tomorrow. Today, I have done the investigations. They don't seem to have any fever. I've investigated them for the regular surgery, but I do a COVID test as a routine now, because although a lot of people say you don't have to do a COVID in an asymptomatic patient, I'm doing it because I know people are somehow not very, they're not very comfortable telling that they have some fever or they have some illness, so they're hiding it. So I would request the community who's watching this that please don't do this. I mean, if you are having any symptoms, if you're having fever, disclose to the doctor. At least you will also not spend money which is going for the preparation for the surgery. And if you're having symptoms, please get the COVID test done. So when I do this test, you won't believe it, Sovik. It has happened at least for the last 9-10 months. I'm seeing almost every week. I'm not going to say every OT. Every week, I'm getting 1 or 2 patients who are positive and I have to cancel the surgeries. And just a day before, I was sitting with them in the OPD and examining them, examining the chest, and listening to the respiration, the sounds, and everything. We are so close to the patient when we're examining the chest, and we are doing an abdominal examination. They are in physical proximity of each other, and that moment, if the patient is hiding the symptoms, then the doctor is exposed. And I know God bless him, God forbid, I hope all of you who fall sick, you become very healthy very fast. But then since you feel the doctors have a responsibility towards you, you share some responsibilities towards the doctors also, because let them help you by they can help you better if they're also healthy, because doctors also are having the problems of their loved ones at home, their sick parents at home. And when we carry the virus home, we may not fall that sick, but there are people who are more sensitive at home. They may fall more sick. So yes, it works both ways. Doctors who are having a problem with COVID, they stay at home. They have a 14-day quarantine. They have to get better and come back. Patients who are having symptoms, please inform the doctor that, sir, I'm not feeling too well. Before I go for this treatment, please inform. I'm having at least every week 1 or 2 patients who are having COVID. In the test, they don't tell us, and the test comes positive. So that's a responsibility both of us should share and disclose.
That's a very important point, that doctors do have responsibility, but we as citizens, as patients who are coming to a doctor or going to a doctor, we should not hide anything from our doctors. That's also a lesson from us. I think that's very important, that because a doctor is trying to help you, don't hide anything by going to them knowing that you have some difficulty, but you're not divulging that to a doctor.
Yeah, but having said that, I'm sorry for interrupting, Sovik, but having said that, some people are genuinely asymptomatic positive. Now, that's that gray area where the patient or the doctor cannot, some doctors
Right.
may be positive without themselves knowing, because they're feeling healthy, they're working. And there are some patients who feel that I'm absolutely fine, so I don't have any problem. So yes, that gray area is still there. So that's why I said most of us have some idea about this disease, but the best is yet to come out. I mean, the total amount of it, total knowledge of it is yet to come out, and all of us have to become experts on COVID, but that's going to take time.
Right. We have come to the end of this special broadcast, APAC Dialogue, India Fights Corona, special series, a dialogue with doctors, healthcare professionals, experts, and policymakers to get insights on various aspects of healthcare spectrum, that what should be done, what should not be done. And we're running this series for last 1.5 months. I started this special broadcast by saying that we have with us today someone who always try to give hope to patients, because he believes in that kind of mentality, that whoever is coming to you, that Dr. Prassan, which that they're coming with a hope, and you always give them hope, not false hope, but genuine hope, that what can be done, what cannot be done. So what will be your departing statement for the people, for the couple who are looking at IVF as an option to carry on? So what will be your note for them, departing note for them?
So I would, as a parting note for my patients, I would say that please don't give up hope. I mean, if you're having IVF as your treatment planned by your doctor and your physician, so then please don't give up hope. Do the basics, what they've told. I would say that please make a good list of all whatever has been done before to you. Make a nice chart. All your files which are not arranged properly, arrange them properly, so that whatever workups have been done for you, please mark them properly in a sequential manner, and bring them to the doctor whenever the treatment restarts again. And the best message which I would give to you is that these are tough times, but tough times don't last. Tough people do. So if you're tough mentally, then you can go through this, and we'll all come out of this positively and more healthy to face anything which is thrown at us. We are all very strong people. We are strong-willed people who have always come out of adversities. So this is another time where our inner strength and our will has been put to test, but we'll all come out of this positively. So that's why I said, tough times don't last, tough people do.
Thank you so much. That was Dr. Prassan Vij, quintessential Dr. Prassan Vij, who ended this special broadcast with a ray of hope. And as I rightly said, that tough time won't stay forever, but tough people will survive forever. That has been the crux of this discussion. And I'm sure we are going through a pandemic, a very tough time. And I'm sure people like you, the entire medical fraternity and citizens will come together to defeat this virus. And again, the humanity will be triumphant. Human race will be triumphant over this virus. Thank you so much, Dr. Prassan Vij, for joining us in APAC Dialogue, India Fights Corona. Do take care, stay safe, and keep on saving lives. Thank you so much, Dr. Prassan Vij. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.